that's a lot of things that people don't take into consideration. When your stamina goes down, that's when things start changing for your shooting, your finishing, your defending. Everything starts changing when your stamina starts dropping. So steady shooter, these people are out here just taking these shots. They might equip steady shooter at a high level. They don't even think of taking open shots. So you're playing good defense, and your defense isn't rewarded because someone got the steady shooter badge. Hey, what's up YouTube? You already know it's All City Live TV, and thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about which badges are overpowered, underrated, or completely useless. Now you guys know from yesterday's video that I recorded an extremely long video and I wanted to break it up into parts, so we're uploading particular categories, and today we're gonna go into the most overpowered, underrated, and completely useless shooting badges. So I'm gonna break this up and I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'm happy to announce that the City Merch store is now up and running. We got t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, phone cases, and bags, so go crazy out there. The link will be in the description below. Let's keep this thing going with shooting badges. Catch and shoot. Let's keep this quick. Catch and shoot, overpowered, underrated, or completely useless. You can't label catch and shoot completely useless because I think it's necessary for a lot of people. If you want better catch animations out there, catch and shoot will help you. For a short time after receiving a pass, the receiver's outside shooting attributes get a significant boost. So that alone says what catch and shoot does for you out there. So you can't label this badge completely useless, and I think a lot of people disregard the boost that you get for catch and shoot, and they just look for better catch animations. And I think catch and shoot is probably some people will label catch and shoot as overpowered because they think it's absolutely necessary, especially if they're point guards out there and they're darting their shooters or they're dotting their shooters. They want to make sure that their shooters have catch and shoot. I've seen shooters out there that really could shoot well without catch and shoot. So it's a toss-up, man, overpowered or underrated. And I think it may be a mix between overpowered and underrated. With the right players, it could be overpowered, and for some people who wouldn't consider catch and shoot, I've always liked catch and shoot, but for some people that wouldn't really consider catch and shoot, it may be an underrated badge, and you might want to give that a little bit consideration. Clutch shooter is definitely an underrated badge and could be overpowered. People aren't equipping clutch shooter because they don't have enough badge points to allocate between their shooting badges. And if you don't have enough badge points to allocate between your shooting badges, then you're going toward the main badges, which we'll get into in just a second. You're gonna try your best to equip the main badges. The reason why I got so few badges on this player is because I haven't developed my shooting badges on my slashing playmaker, but we're gonna keep this thing going. I get 15 badges on my shooting, on my slashing playmaker for shooting. And I don't think I will be equipping clutch shooter because 15 is not enough for me. I think if you have a higher amount of shooting badges, I would lean towards clutch shooter, as it helps you, man. Clutch shooter helps you close out games, and that's a good badge to have. So I will label it underrated. Corner specialist is probably another underrated badge for non-shooting builds. Lights out shooters don't necessarily need corner specialist. Corner specialist, but if you're like a lower rated shooting build, corner specialist will definitely help you out in hitting those shots in the corner. And it's from mid-range to 3-point range, it'll help you out tremendously. So I think it's an underrated badge because a lot of people don't lean to it, especially for non-shooting builds. Deadeye, overpowered badge. Equip this as high as it can go. Although people have released a ton of videos on this year. Lower rated shooter, you don't necessarily need Deadeye, but if you're a higher rated shooter, then Deadeye comes in handy for you. So Deadeye for the right build will be overpowered and may even be considered underrated if you're not equipping Deadeye. Deep Fades, another goated badge for the right player. So I think Deep Fades is overpowered on an interior force who has high post fades, things like that. So it's definitely an overpowered badge in my opinion. Underrated in the sense that there's not many people out there who create builds that can utilize the deep phase badge. Difficult shots, overpowered, man. Another overpowered badge in my opinion. People aren't utilizing. Listen, this is, who was it that dropped the video? Someone dropped the video recently that I was watching, and they were saying they, we're leaning towards, like, we're leaning back into leaning shots out there. So if you're trying to like evolve as a player, you create a playmaking shot creator. I mean, you can watch them boys, they go crazy out there. Outside of Ticino, we're talking about just regular playmaking. I know Ticino's a pure shot creator, but if you make a playmaking shot creator out there, you will be going crazy. So difficult shots is definitely a badge that I would consider overpowered, underrated, in the sense that people aren't even out there using difficult shots like that. They may have it at a lower level, and they're not really taking on the full effect of taking leaning shots out there. Something that you guys may want to consider. Try adjusting your game. Flexible release, another underrated badge. I talked about flexible release a while ago, and I had equipped it. This is when I wasn't really shooting like that, but I had pulled it out one day just to kind of try it out, and I noticed that my jump shots in the completion rating had increased tremendously, but it wasn't consistent. I said, man, I don't know what was going on, so I couldn't leave it equipped. But I had made a video talking about my thoughts on flexible release, and I think it's an underrated badge. If you guys are out there struggling with your shooting, try flexible release, especially if you have a high amount of latency and things like that going on with your system, with your Wi-Fi, whatnot. Try flexible release. It might just pull you through. In my opinion, underrated. Green Machine, overpowered, underrated, or completely useless. Now, I've had some ups and downs with Green Machine, and I like the fact that Green Machine increases your green window to hit more greens, but you gotta hit 2 shots in order for the Green Machine to activate. And if you can hit 2 shots, who's to say you can't hit 3? Who's to say you can't hit 4? If you can hit 2 green releases already, why do you need a badge to kind of get you to pull through on the remaining greens? What would be the significant difference if you don't have the badge? So take that into consideration. I think if you have a high amount of badge points, you equip this overpowered, underrated. It's definitely not completely useless. It could be considered overpowered with the right build, so you can consistently green throughout your gameplay, even as your stamina goes down. And I think that's a lot of things that people don't take into consideration. When your stamina goes down, that's when things start changing for your shooting, your finishing, your defending. Everything starts changing when your stamina starts dropping. So Green Machine may come in handy and may even be considered overpowered. Hot Start, unfortunately, Hot Start is not where it should be. I think it may, I can't label it. It's just a little above completely useless in my opinion. Hot Start, people aren't really equipping this badge unless you have a ton of shooting badges out there. And I think as diverse as the 2K community is with their builds, I think they're limiting, just going all out. Like in previous versions of 2K, people will go crazy on shooting badges, and I think they changed it tremendously where people want more diversity and balance between the badge categories. So they're not gonna have like 30 shooting badges, for most players out there. So Hot Start, it's just a little above, in my opinion, completely useless. Hot Zone Hunter is overpowered, in my opinion. I love the Hot Zone Hunter badge. It's probably going to be the next badge that I actually equip on this slashing playmaker. So something that you guys may want to consider, in my opinion. Hot Zone Hunter is overpowered. Ice Invade is completely useless. Oh my god, why do they even have this badge in the game? Just equip the right free throw animation and you'll be okay out there. Let's move on. Pick and Popper. It's gonna give you a shot percentage boost. Any type of screen to, let's see, let's go into it, make sure. Shot attempts that come after setting a screen are given a boost if the shot happens far enough from the rim and within a few seconds after the screen has been set. So we have, there's not many players out there, there's not many centers out there who can set a brick wall screen and then roll to take a shot, because stretches are not really the same this year in 2K20. They don't have the same effectiveness, but there is a glass cleaning lock that I can think of. My homie Flo, he shoots lights out from limitless range, and he's definitely a player that can utilize Pick and Popper. So it's probably an underrated badge, something that you guys may want to consider if you're getting an additional boost on your shot and you're a taller player that can set a good brick wall screen. Pick and Popper may come in handy. Pump Fake Maestro, there's a lot of people who aren't making good use of this badge, and I'm going to go in to make sure Maestro. Maestro is the timer that determines how long after a pump fake a player can shoot without incurring a shot percentage penalty. So, you know, if you do the pump fake, you normally incur a shot penalty, and pump fake will kind of, listen, I don't equip pump fake Maestro. I wanted to equip it. I don't know if you guys are out there and you're making good use of pump fake Maestro. I've never had a build that could utilize pump fake Maestro. But if you're out there, we would love to hear from you, man. Let us know what you think about the pump fake Maestro badge. Quick draw, man. Quick draw is definitely an overpowered shooting badge, a must-have in 2K20. I think everybody knows that. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. Range extender goes without saying, extends your range. Overpowered, in my opinion. If you don't have the badge, you're not going to be shooting consistently from range. So when you put on range extender, it's definitely a badge that you would probably have to label overpowered. If you guys feel differently, please let me know. But I know quick draw and range extender to be overpowered. Slippery off ball. What do you guys think about slippery off ball? If you don't have it equipped, just think about the times when you couldn't keep up with your opponent. When you're a defender out there and you're trying to keep up with this dude who normally, while he's moving straight, he looks like he's moving slow, but moving side to side along the perimeter, you're like just swerving. You can't keep up with him. Like, what's going on? That's slippery off ball, man. So in my opinion, an underrated badge, and definitely a badge that you guys may want to consider equipping, because slippery off ball could be overpowered and underrated. Steady shooter. Oh man, steady shooter. I wish the badge wasn't in the game. I mean, we've seen people hit these just tremendously insane shots out there, and it's really getting annoying watching all of these shots go in, because it's like rewarding. It's rewarding these bad shooters, and I don't like the idea of rewarding bad shooters that take bad shots. It doesn't fare well with me. I don't like the idea of developing these type of players in 2K, and it kind of is demoralizing to the defense as well. So steady shooter, these people are out here just taking these shots. They might equip steady shooter at a high level. They don't even think of taking open shots. So you're playing good defense, and your defense isn't rewarded because someone got the steady shooter badge. So it may be considered overpowered. Not that I would recommend equipping steady shooter, because we like to take open shots. We like to set up and strategize to take an open shot, and that's what basketball should be about. We shouldn't be taking contested shots out there, and steady shooter allows you to take these heavily contested shots, and almost you could green them joints too out there, and it's heavily frustrating for a defense. So it may be considered overpowered for a lot of players out there, but I don't recommend equipping a steady shooter, because our priority is to create an open shot. Tireless shooter, overpowered, underrated, or completely useless. Tireless shooter, man. I would probably consider this just a little bit above completely useless. I don't think it's an absolute necessary badge. Like I said before, we're trying to create open shots, and we normally run, there's not a lot of movement. We don't like a lot of movement when we're running. So if you're tired out there and trying to shoot the rock, maybe for a player that's dribbling and shooting off the dribble a lot, someone that's zigzagging behind screens, although I still don't count it as absolutely necessary, I would probably label this a little bit above completely useless. That's in my opinion. You guys let me know what you think if you're, your goated shooters with the Tyler shooter badge. Volume shooter, an underrated badge still to this day. There's not a lot of people who equip volume shooter. I'm gonna go right into it. Volume shooter player. Let's see here. After a player has taken a small handful of shots, an additional boost to shot attributes is given for every subsequent shot, whether it's a make or a miss. So you get that attribute boost, and you guys got to understand the difference between shot percentage boost and attribute boost. There's a huge difference there. Although I guess what we need to figure out is how much percentage how much of an increase in percentage does your shot go up for each individual attribute, and there is a huge difference there. So I don't know which one is necessarily better. If you guys have a better idea than I, please let me know. Share that information in the comment section below. All right, let's move on. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video on the most overpowered, underrated, or completely useless shooting badges. And if you did, please consider subscribing to our channel, as we're gonna have a ton of NBA 2K20 content coming your way. I'll catch you guys on the next video.